Morning, dear people. January 25th. I'm ever so happy to see you again. We have a couple of new people today. And so, once again, as we go through our lessons, we're going to be working to take those of you who've done Eurythmy with me already for many months, perhaps almost 2 years, give you a forward stream. I've got some new exercises for you today. But we're also going to be sure to take the newcomers along with us. And all of this is work for our journey in exploring the life between death and rebirth. And as I said last week, towards the end of the lesson, we can come in communication with those who have crossed the threshold of death, but only through our living thoughts. Our mechanical thoughts, our automatic thoughts, our dead thoughts cannot reach them, but our living thoughts, and especially, as I said last week, if we can make process out of our thinking using verbs instead of nouns. So in that, remember I said, when we do eurythmy, we're moving through the etheric space, the life space. When we do eurythmy, we're moving beyond the mechanical laws, which are the rightful laws of the material world, the rightful laws also of our physical body. But as you remember, our physical body, as long as we're alive, is not the only body we wear. We also wear a life body. This life body, the etheric body, permeates all of our physical body as long as we're alive. And this life body in our time is rather in danger because of the hardening effects of the physical, mechanical, modern culture on our bodies, our souls, and our spirits. And this is one reason why the eurythmy practice is so important, that we can redeem, we can pick up, engage, and move with our etheric body so that our physical body does not get so hard and stiff. Moreover, those who have died are living in living etheric space. And when we make our eurythmy meaningful movements with full consciousness, those who have died are able to perceive us as living beings and not just perceive these cold and shadowy physical skeletons that we are if we're not living our spiritual soul life on earth. So with that, let's begin our practice. Take your place in your room. I invite you to do a nice stretch, if you like, in any way you like, so that the etheric body is flowing through your physical body. And then put your feet together. And as we have done so many times before, begin your practice by becoming really present, silent. I am here. I'm a living line of light between heaven and earth. And as we've practiced every time, feel that star above your head. It inspires you to stand straight, have an upright spine, and let the light from that star shine down right through you into the earth. And now, in addition to that, spread your arms wide, right and left, and feel that through your arms, through your hands, you live in present space and time, connected to all the people of the world, connected to the natural world around you. And now, as we have practiced, be aware of the space in front of you, which is the sense world, and the space behind you, the invisible world. This is a space that we live in as long as we're alive. And now we move this place of balance in which the 6 dimensions of space run through us. We leave this place of balance and we go down into gravity. Please notice, in case you haven't noticed, that I keep my back as straight as I can when I go down. I don't bend. Go down into gravity, clench your muscles, and affirm that you're a citizen of gravity, a citizen of the earth. Release and go up on your toes, a completely different muscle tension. Affirm that you belong to the stars. And now spread your arms wide and become vividly and thankfully aware of the natural world that you live in and all the people you're connected to. And now put all your attention on the front space. Of course, the computer screen is in front of you, but do better than that. Imagine a really beautiful flower bouquet and imagining that stream, not towards the computer, but towards your imagined beautiful flowers. Thankful for all the wonderful things that are in this world. And now the spirits tap you on your back and say, but don't forget the archetypes behind you. And you go backwards. Now let your gaze go wide. You're not looking at anything here, but you're opening the eyes in the back of your head. Yes. And now bring your hands to your heart and feel all these 6 directions of space are streaming into me throughout my life. In the middle of all of them, I hold the balance. And do that again. Spread your arms wide. Your space is filled with etheric energy in which, among other things, your beloved departed can be present. So as you go down, feel how you gently stroke the ground, the air going down. Turn your hands up. Feel not only your 2 arms, but feel the whole space you move through. And spread your arms wide, feeling that against the back of your arms. And now imagine something beautiful in front of you and go with it, towards it with enthusiasm. And imagine the backspace and go to it with gratitude and reverence. Inside your heart, you have an image of the whole world. And this time, your hands are the hands of the peacemaker. Open your arms wide. May peace be below me. May peace be above me. And may peace be all around me. May peace be before me. May peace be behind me. And may peace be within me. Each time you come to this position with your hands in front of your heart, gently holding your inner space, be sure to go deep within yourself. Be sure that you are doing your best to get to your authentic core. In this place, the whole past that has made you into a human being, brought you to this moment, your whole past is condensed and living as a seed. And the seed is a perfect mirror of the macrocosm. So as we've done many times before, let the seed of spirit from your heart open into the world, back to spirit heights. Can you feel how you're like a flower here, open wide to the sun, to the spirit sun? And remember, don't look up, just feel, not just where your arms are, feel the whole sphere of space that you're surrounded to. And now from all directions, from your arms, from above and below, from all directions, like a sphere, bring yourself in. Touch your core and expand out again. Feel this whole sphere of space. And you'll continue as I speak this verse, and you just listen and move within my heart. Shines the light of the sun within my soul. Weaves the warmth of the world. I will breathe the light of the sun. I will feel the warmth of the world. Light of the sun pour into me, and warmth of the world flow through me. And I'd like to do that with you one more time, same exercise, and invoke the presence of your loved one if you like, and imagine or make it possible for them to watch you and support your processing as you do it, if you like. Go wide. They are with you, not looking out of a set of eyes, but surrounding you and feeling you with their loving gaze. Within my heart shines the light of the sun. Within my soul weaves the warmth of the world. I will breathe the light of the sun. I will feel the warmth of the world. Light of the sun pour into me, and warmth of the world flow through me. And now, out of the language of the heart, let's remember how the vowels are expressed as the feelings and the experiences and the powers of the heart, which have been planted into the archetype of the human being by spiritual beings. And we speak of them as being the powers that live in the planets. So we've done this on the planet module for those of you who were with me for that deep study of the vowels. And we learned that the planet Venus expresses itself in the vowel ah. And the moon and Mercury carries the archetype of the E. And Mars, the archetype of A, Jupiter, O, and Saturn, O. And the sun carries the archetype of Au, and the moon of I. So let's go through those now. And once again, if you haven't done these with me, go to my website and find the link for how to take the study on the vowels. Thank you. And let's begin. Ah. Can you feel that your heart opens into this expression? Notice also the geometric precision of this. It's not too wide, not too narrow, not too emotive or soft. It's clean and clear. And when we practice these vowels as archetypes, they strengthen us in our soul life. They teach us how to have deep feelings that are objective, nonetheless very rich. Can you be as open as the goddess Venus? And now back to your heart. And let's create the vowel E. From the heart, you stand between heaven and earth. One arm rises to the heights. The other penetrates downwards towards the realm of gravity, material. And you, from the strength of your heart, balance the two, the gift of Mercury. And now the gift of Mars, A. This powerful planet implants in us a firm vowel, not the loving gesture of awe, but the gesture of making boundaries all around yourself and thereby gaining knowledge. O was created and given to us by the great spirits of wisdom, including the queen of all, Sophia, also connected to Isis. O. Do that again. Imagine Jupiter. Oh, wonderful, big, and generous planet in the sky. And then at last, the U, which we think of as the outermost planet, not including the so-called newcomers, Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn, and Pluto. Ooh, it has the memory of the deep past, of the beginnings of all. And it is remembered in our body through the sound ooh and through the skeleton. All right, let's go through those again. From the heart, ah. From the heart, E, Mercury. Either hand up is fine. A, O. And rest. And remember to move through etheric space. So the process is important, not the finished position of the gesture. Ah, feel yourself growing into openness and express it. Leave it. Feel yourself growing into this position of balance. Finished. Oh, let yourself, feel yourself crossing, 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 crossing. Finished. Oh, and the sound is created in the timing of an exhaled breath. Oh, finished. Although you don't speak it, but you feel that. Om. And rest. Now let's remember the other two, the sound of the sun and then of the moon. The sound of the sun is the ow. Try it in the other direction. And live into the forming ah and oo at the same time. And then release. Ow. And by now you should be able to feel how you are putting the sound into space as you move. And really, when the sound comes to its final position, it's finished. If you hold it too long, it becomes material, falls away and crystallizes. Yes. And now, I, the sound of the moon. We start at one side, begin with this open, somewhat like an eye over here. Ah, bring your hands to a crossing and let the other arm take the E, ah, E. I. Or perhaps we can even say ah, A, E. Watch like this. Ah, A, E. Ah, A, E. And we can do a dark I. Ah. Or we can do a bright I. Ah. Dark with the palms down, gently stroking. And with the palms up into the light, I. And rest. And as we did last week, let's go through the planets as we have begun to study them in the Thursday night lectures. We go today, once again, we'll go from the moon I to the Venus Ah to the Mercury E, and then back to the sun. And as we pass through the gate of death, we live in these expanding spheres. We grow in circles into the spiritual world. So as you leave this place on the earth where we think, we experience that we're the center of a universe, but as we go back into the, we'll take one step back, opening the back space, feel yourself moving away from the earth, but feel yourself moving into the moon space and use the I for that. Another step back and feel aware of the whole larger circle that you're stepping into. And as you move into the E, feel yourself as part of an even larger circle, E. And as you move another step back, feel yourself connecting to the sun. Oh. We're not quite ready to add Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn yet, the vowels of spirit land. These are the vowels of the soul land. As we move away from the earth, we are growing into a sphere like this. And the whole atmosphere in that sphere is filled with moon energy, I. And then we move back into the Venus sphere, the sphere of loving beauty. And then back into the Mercury sphere, such integrity here. And then back into the sun sphere. Oh. Good. One more time. And as you take this into your personal practice, you're trying to feel expanding circles of space, leaving the earth, the moon sphere. And as we learned in the Thursday class, that's the sphere of what's called purgatory. And we move back another step to Venus. And this is the step, the stage where our morality is measured. And back to the Mercury sphere. And that's the sphere where our religious or devotional search for God is our guide. And we move back to the Sun sphere, where we must learn to find community with people of all religions, all faiths. And rest. Thank you. Now we're going to start to develop something new. We're going to work a little bit on threefold walking. We've done this in the past 2 weeks already a little bit, but let me just once again reiterate it for anyone who might be new. I'm standing facing this direction so that you can see me in profile, but please continue to come forwards and backwards from your screen. As we walk in Eurythmy, the important thing is that we feel that our steps follow or carry our heart. So with your heart, feel that's where I want to go and walk. I suggest 4 steps forward. And when you want to go back or return to where you started, feel the eyes in the back of your heart can see where you're going and step backwards 4 steps. Now put your attention in the sense space again. Remember what we learned in the peace exercise. Carrying your heart 4 steps forward, carrying your heart 4 steps back. Once again, 4 steps forward, 4 steps back. And we have our practice in Eurythmy that with each step, we practice a threefold relationship to stepping. We lift the foot, carry, and place. And as we place, we touch with the toes first, and only bit by bit give our weight to the foot. Lift, carry, touch with your toe first, and press in. Each phase of this step, the lift, carry, and place, should be equally long in time. 1 and 2 and 3. And now we'll walk backwards. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So your feet and your heart are connected. Your feet, with this healthy, wholesome balance, carry your heart. All right. And you'll remember I said, feel free to practice that as much and wherever you like, but probably not in the grocery store. Now, and with the understanding of any beginners that might be with us, this will be something that takes a bit of experience with the threefold walking. We're going to take another step. I would like you to put one foot in front of the other, right or left, doesn't matter. And in this position, put your arms behind you and then make one big and beautiful movement forwards. And one big and beautiful movement backwards. As you do that, actually step onto the front foot. And now feel your back space before you move backwards. Move backwards. You can feel how this is working with etheric space. You feel how the movement of your arms guides the whole movement. And be sure you're breathing well. It must be an etheric movement. Make your shoulder joints as light and as relaxed as possible. You go forwards, you go into the front space. As you go backwards, you go into the back space. So think behind yourself. Practice thinking in front, thinking behind. Let this really engage the breathing of your lungs. Front space, back space, front space, back space. Hover here for a moment while I tell you what comes next. Now, in the same length of time, I want you to take not just one, but 2 steps. So let's go. 1, your arms are down, and 2, and backwards. 1 and 2. Remember to feel the back space before you go backwards. This time I want to do 3 steps. So by putting 3 steps in, the feet have to go faster, but the upper body is just as relaxed as before. 3 steps. 1, 2, 3, touching with the toes first. 3, 2, 1. Again, 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Feel the back space before you go back. 3, 2, and 1. Now just 2 steps. 1, 2. The arms are always at the same tempo. 2, 1. And slowly, 1 and 1. And release. I like this exercise because it starts to wake the feet up so they can go more quickly in threefold walking. Again, from the beginning, we'll take 1 slow step. Feel the front space. Feel the back space. 2 steps. 1, 2, back space before you move and then go. 1, 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. Again, 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Slowly a 1. 1. 1. And rest. I'd like to do that even more quickly now. I would love to do 5 steps with you. So let's begin with 1 again. 1. 1. You set the tempo with this one. So you want this one to be nice and slow. Now 2. 1, 2. 1. Feel the back space. 2, 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Backspace. 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4. Remember, I'm not stepping on my toes. I mean, I'm not stepping on my tiptoes. This was 4. Even when I go fast. And 3. 1, 2, 3. 3. I greet the ground always with the front of my foot, and always I get my heel down as well. 2. And 1. 1. And rest. Let's do that whole sequence one more time. 1. 2. 1, 2. 2, 1, 3. 1 front space. Before you go backwards, always feel back space. 4 steps, front space, back space. 5 steps. 1, 2, 3. Always touching the ground with your whole foot. 5 steps. Toes first and then the heels. Very quickly. 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. And by the time we get to 3, this practice of stepping should be easier, that you have enough time to feel confident in getting your heel down. Toe, heel, and 1 step. 1, 1, and rest. Breathe. I'm glad to do that with you. It brings a little bit of good energy with you. And if by chance you're someone who can't move, if you're in bed or in a wheelchair, you can just really practice this wonderful, life-giving breathing movement with the arms. All right. Included in that experience was the difference between front space and back space, which as eurythmists, practitioners of eurythmy, we're always aware of. In poetry and in music, we always use space as our canvas. And the lawfulness of the back space is that it refers to spirit, and the front space is that it makes the sense world visible for us. This is what's involved in the choreography of the poem that we're working on. So every time a line speaks about going into the spirit world, we go back. And every time it talks about coming into the world, we come forwards. And the reason that we have these, that we practice these mini steps, is because we're working towards creating forms for the second part of the poem, the 4 elements: fire, air, water, and earth. And to do that, I will want us to move forward, but with different intensities. So let's just improvise that a little bit now. If you have a fire form, you'll want to move more quickly than you do with an earth form. And the air form is much lighter than a water form. So let's take 4 steps forward in an earthly and grounded way. 1, 2, 3. So feel solidity through your whole body. 1, 2. You need a certain heaviness, a certain ponderousness. And now let's try a fire form, which will have much more dynamic and quicker steps. So let's go forward quickly and with vigor. And backwards. And again. And back. And forwards. And back. And how would an air form be? Airy like the wind. And just going from side to side to make it easy. And now a different experience, the water form. The air didn't have to pay any attention to gravity, but the water, yes, it does. So now as you move a little quicker than the earth, but you still feel bound to gravity. And I'm just making a little wave form from side to side. Moving through etheric space. Who, as a loving presence, is with you and enjoying you, making eurythmy. One more time. I was born of the waters. I was born of the waves that lap the shore. Good. And rest. All of these exercises are building our way into the poem called Birth that we're working on. But I want now here to introduce one more element that we need for the poem, and that is how to walk in a circle. Standing where you are, I'd like you to imagine that you're at the back of a circle and the circle is in front of you. And the center of the circle is about 1 or 2 steps in front of you. And I want you to circle around that with as much accuracy as you can. We'll go in a clockwise direction. That means you start with your right foot, and I'll start with my left so that I'm mirroring you. Okay, so I look to you as if I'm doing the same thing you are. So you go around that, 2, 3, and now what's your relation? Now it's behind you. Okay, now it's straight behind you. Now it's behind your other shoulder. And now it's in front of you. And your journey is to see how smoothly you can do it. It's on your right side. No, it's on your left side. It's on your right side. And back, and back, and around. Okay, I'll turn my back. And I start to my left because I'm going clockwise. And the point is on my right side. Now the point is behind me. And the point is on my left side. And now the imagined center is in front of me. Now we're going to change that and go to the top of the circle. And we're going to move the same circle, starting going backwards. So you begin with a step to your right, but you feel that point behind you, and you go around it. It's on your left side. It's in front of you. It's on your right side. It's behind you. Again. And now, in my experience, many students ask, what do I do with my feet? I can't figure out how to cross them. Let me tell you. When you go backwards, when I go backwards, well, first I always start with an open step. When I go backwards, I cross my foot behind the other. Still going backwards here, I cross behind. When I go forwards, I cross in front. There. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, and 12. Ooh. Next step, to deal with our theme of life in the etheric world. Only things in the physical world are attractive to the center point, centripetal, seeking the center. This is where the forces of gravity are. But in doing Eurythmy, we are much more related to the life-giving peripheral forces, the forces of the universe, the forces of the sun. And so when I do the circle in Eurythmy, this time I'm facing you, so it will be mixed up for mirror images. When I do the circle in front of me, I feel the earth there, and I feel all of the stars behind me, the whole planets, the realm of the planets. And I tend to lean a little bit, or to always have them in my consciousness, so that I'm always lifting into the periphery and doing Eurythmy, like I do with the expansion exercise. And back, now I'm behind me. Okay, so try that with me. This is one of the elements in getting Eurythmy to be expansive. Here we go. You feel behind you. You do this backward circle. You feel to your side. Sorry, I said you feel behind you because of the challenge that I have thinking about what view of me you have. In fact, I'm doing it with you. So you feel in front of yourself here, the earth behind you. And you feel over here to your right side. You feel to your right side. You feel behind you. And you feel to your left side. And continue to your left side until you come here. Dear friends, this is the choreography that we'll use when we do the poem and we do the sun verse, the sun line, which says, I was born of the gold of the radiant sun, of the light of the world ere the earth begun. So I will speak these words as we make our circle here. I was born. Feel yourself looking for the sun-filled space of the gold of the radiant sun, of the light of the world, ere the earth begun. Again, I was born of the gold of the radiant sun. At this moment, you should be at the back. Of the light of the world, you're on the side, ere the earth begun. And try again. I was born to your right side of the gold behind you, and see a sun with your inner eye behind you. Of the light of the world, stay very bright. And now these last words, ere the earth begun. With your inner imaginative eyes, you're going to see the earth being created before you in the depths of the universe. Again, I was born of the gold of the radiant sun. Your aura should be radiant right now, of the light of the world. And now you change your focus as you look deep into the place where the earth is being born, to the light of the world, ere the earth begun. Thank you. All right. Let's begin our poem. And today we're going to work on sounds for parts that we haven't done yet. So let's begin with the sound B, just remembering how to feel that. The poem is about coming from spirit world into matter. And so you will feel as you were sent to or chose to or were given a body on the earth, you wrapped it around your spirit core. And this we find in the sound B. So imagine you reach into the widths of space where all these other beings live, the planets and the constellations, all these wise, wisdom-filled forms, and you wrap it around you. This comes 8 times in this poem. I was born of the shining of distant stars. I drew their beams with me from afar. I was born of the gold of the radiant sun, of the light of the world, ere the earth begun. And now the moon, born I was of the silver eye, of the guardian moon keeping watch on high. And now the 4 element forms, fire first, born of the flame's intensity. Pull the air around you, born of the wild winds roaming free, water born of the waves that lap the shore, and born of the rock that bears the glittering ore. And born I was from out of the whole. I bear the world within my soul. All right. And now let's begin learning more sounds. The first line, I was born of the stars, of the shining of distant stars. As you think the word born, you will create this B. I was born, and now I'd like to do the word shining, the I in the word shining. But of course, we have to do the upward I, light field of the shining. Again, I was born of the shining of distant stars. And now I want to challenge us all by doing the really hot and fiery S for the stars, like your star needs all this fire to glimmer in the sky. And then we take the starlight into us with the T, and then look towards it with reverence and the sound ah. That gives us the word star. You ready? Arms wide. We're going to do an upward S. Again, do you remember how to do it? And again, I start here. I cross my arms below. I'm making an H shape. I cross them in the middle, and I come all the way up. And then I'm going to bring them into myself with a T, and then shine back with an ah. This is what the folk wisdom of English has done to express our experience of stars. Ah. Ah. I was born of the shining of distant stars. See if you can do that. I was born of the shining of distant stars. Again, I was born of the shining of distant stars. And as you do that in Eurythmy, you'll walk backwards. So before you begin, in this living spirit-filled space that you stand in, use the backspace to express yourself, remembering the spirit world that you came from, remembering the sacred stars in the sky. We'll take 4 steps backwards. I was born of the shining of distant stars. And now come forwards. I drew their beams with me. And now put your weight on the back foot from afar. Yeah. You come forwards for I drew their beams with me as you step into the world. And we'll use for this the sound D for the word drew. I drew. And let's add another one. They're beams. Take a big armload of sunbeams. I drew their beams. And now stand straight with me. Feel the power of the E. With me. From afar, let's rock onto our back foot to express the memory of where they, and honor the memory of where they came from afar. Total backspace here. All right, friends, are you ready? Let's see how much we can put on this. I was born of the shining of distant stars. I drew their beams, front space, with me from afar, backspace. Get it? Very satisfying. Into the backspace, draw starlight around you. Backspace. Now front space. E with me from afar. Got it? Again. I was born of the shining of distant stars. You can have open feet here. I drew their beams with me from afar. Let's go on. I was born of the gold of the radiant sun, of the light of the world ere the earth begun. And for sounds, we will take, I was born. Now the sound G for the gold. Remember how to do the B. We're going to to do the G, turn our arms outwards, and we're going to push open to do the sound G. Push open from there. And imagine that in doing that, you have just discovered gold. And so as the space opens in front of you, you feel wonder. Let's do that again. I was born of the gold. What gold? And now with the sound which is like the but a little narrower, of the radiant sun. Again. Born of the gold. And then think sun of the radiant sun. Got it? Again. I was born of the gold of the radiant sun. Now the light of the world, let's take one big L for that, for those two words, light of the world, of the light of the world. And now our attention is turned to the earth that comes into being in the depths, as seen by the Spirit, ere the earth. And that's the TH sound for the earth. Ere the TH, the. We'll do two thunking movements. Ere the earth. But send that down, spiraling down into matter. Ere the earth. And wrap the earth up with a B down there. B. And now go. Open it so you can behold it. Begun. Great word. Of the light of the world. Of the light of the world. TH. Ere the earth. B. G. F. And let's try that now with a circle. So you're in the front of your form. You're going to start backwards to your right. So you're going clockwise and I'm facing the other direction. So it will look like it's opposite to you, but this is what I need to do to go clockwise. So start going backwards to your right. I was born to the steps of the gold of the radiant sun, and then L, of the light of the world, to the front of your form, looking down far, millions, gazillions of miles, ere the earth be gone. Again, I was born of the gold, let it shine, of the radiant sun, of the light of the world, ere the earth be gone. And as you do it again, remember to practice living thinking so that you think, why do I have sunlight in myself? What is this warm, loving presence that I carry in my body? I was born of the gold of the radiant sun, of the light of the world, ere the earth be gone. And now we'll take the moon line. Born I was of the silver eye. The poet calls the moon a silver eye. Here we go. A different kind of feeling now. I was born. I was of the silver. Now we're going to take the eye. Ah, the silver eye. You feel that like moonlight moving across a field, the silvery light. Born I was of the silvery eye. And now we have the sound ooh that names the moon. You're going to, with this ooh gesture, imagine the harvest moon rising in the sky, of the guardian moon, keeping, and now here's an ah, keeping watch, and little H on high. Again, born I was of the silver eye, of the guardian moon, keeping watch on high. All right. From the beginning, I was born of the shining of distant stars. And come down to earth now. I drew and gathered them, their beams with me from afar. Circle backwards. I was born of the gold of the radiant sun, L, of the light of the world, ere the earth be gone. Backwards. Born I was of the silver eye, and stand still for this last moon. As the moon rises, the guardian moon, keeping watch on high. Try that twice more. And these will be the last. We're coming towards the end of the practice time, so try to internalize it. I was born of the shining of distant stars. I drew their beams with me from afar. Circle form. Think of sunlight all around you. Feel the etheric space. I was born of the gold, of the radiant sun, of the light of the world, ere the earth begun. Straight back, born I was of the silver eye of the guardian moon. Now the sun, keeping watch on high. And one last time, and this time I'll do more of the words for you and take us all the way to the end of the poem. Straight back. I was born of the shining of distant stars. I drew their beams with me from afar. Circle. I was born of the gold of the radiant sun, of the light of the world, ere the earth begun. Straight back. Born I was of the silver eye of the guardian moon, keeping watch on high. And now, after coming all the way into the moon, now we did immerse ourselves in the four elements which belong to the earth. So the first feeling is fire. Born I was of the flame's intensity, born of the wild winds roaming free, born of the waves that lap the shore, born of the rocks that hide the glittering ore. And now to the last line that we've already learned. Born I was from out of the whole. I bear the world within my soul. And in this position of the little O, you feel your own heart recognized, blessed, because it's been acknowledged as that place that holds all of these experiences. All right. I hope that you'll be able to find time to practice this every day, because you get the fruits of this lesson when you review them and practice them again and again. And what's that doing? What that is doing is bringing them to life within you so that you can live in the flow of the pictures. You live in the flow of the thoughts. You live in the breath. And see if you can lift it to that spot where it's not the experience of going, buh, duh, duh, but it's shaped as you move. Why do we have choreography? The choreography in Eurythmy is a map, if you will, or really an expression of the living movement of a line of speech as it unfolds in time. And so as eurythmic choreographies, we have to decide, does the line of meaning as it unfolds in time go to the front, to the back? Does it go in circles and loops or straight lines and angles? All of that is not arbitrary, but expressing the meaning of the poem. And in doing this, I've chosen very simple forms. If I did it as a performance, the forms would be much more complex. And I also really chose only the minimum of sounds, enough so that I believe and hope that you will be able to remember and internalize them, thereby building for yourself a rich, rich experience. And as I said before, if you haven't done the vowels or other modules before, you can find them on my website and go study them in more depth. All right, Michelle, can you please take us through the questions? Wait, before we do, Michelle, yes. Some people have not been able to get into the webinars because they write and tell us that they don't have their links. And in case any of those people are the ones who are here right now, I personally can't help you on Tuesday mornings because I'm so busy preparing for you, and then I'm just not looking at that screen. But Michelle is the one who will help you with all of these questions. And let's, although we can't see you, let's give a shout out to Michelle. But she's the one you have to write.
And they all got in, so yes, happy day.
Yes, I hope there are no more emails coming tonight.
Yes, we will hope.
As you know, this webinar is paired with the Thursday evening lecture series. And tonight, this week, we're going to continue our journey moving from the Earth to the Moon and the Venus and Mercury and Sun spheres after death and what that entails. So if you're not signed up, it's not too late. And also, we very much want to thank you for your generous donations. Very, very grateful. And let's keep doing the work of the Eurythmy spirit. So Michelle, give me the questions, please.
Here we go. Joanna's question is, no E vowel movement when we say E in the poem?
Good question. I love that. I'm glad you noticed that. And the E is also present whenever I stand upright, conscious of light in my head and grounding in my feet. So the E runs through my whole body, in this case, even when I'm not doing that E. So yes, even a person sitting in a wheelchair can create the E by sitting quite upright. Thank you.
Yes. Now, Julie asked, can I do the exercise without walking till I get the movement and just do the walking later?
Yes, definitely. For many, many people, that's easier, including for myself. Some people are different body learners, and some people really like to do both at the same time. And there's great latitude in that. The goal is, hopefully by next Tuesday, you'll be able to put them together without having to think about it.
Wonderful. I just, yes, stepped away to respond to another chat, not physically, technologically. Okay, here we go. Nicole asked, how common is it to have an emotional experience when practicing? Today, I giggled and cried, felt my heart race, and a tension headache disappear.
It is more than common. It means that you're engaging a lot of yourself. You're engaging your soul and not just the technique. It's becoming real for you. And yes, tears, abundant tears, and great joy are both present in the Eurythmy practice because we're striving to be authentic and touch the core, which in most people is actually very, very, very lonely. Maybe not for all of you because you have found your path, but it's a tough world to be in, and our hearts are longing for real food, as are the hearts of those who have died, of course. Michelle.
Kari asked, in the final line, watch on high, it seems the gesture of arms was the ah, not the sound of the I in high. Can you please explain? Thank you.
Yeah, born I was of the silver eye. Oh, you're referring to the word high. The sound that I'm doing with the high is a very gentle H and not the I. Watch on. So I have keeping watch on high. And what I'm really doing, because all consonants are born out of the shoulder blades, even as all vowels are born out of the heart. So I've got my arms here, watch, and then with my shoulder blades, I pull in just a little bit so I can puff into the air, weightlessly, subtle, high.
Okay, we came to the end of the questions. I was just
Good.
skimming through to make sure we got everything. Lots of, yes, lots of messages of gratitude that I know you will enjoy reading. There we go. Another beautiful lesson. Thank you so much, Cynthia.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.